something. He ain't got no more food. We got babies out here. We got handicapped people.
On the floor. She's dying right now.
My name is Dave Wilson. Me and my wife, we own this little house. May not look like much, but it's ours. Well, when Katrina hit, we had to get out of here. We wound up in Houston. My wife and my mother-in-law, they're still up there in Houston. I come down to try to get my house together because the first contract I had didn't work out with him. So we hired another one. Now the house was supposed to be ready around Thanksgiving. But when we come down during the holidays, the house wasn't, he hadn't been in the house. So, but meantime we had to get back to Houston because I had a job out there. So I get back to Houston and I called him on 3 different occasions. And he told me, he said, look, I'm getting your stuff together. Going in your house, y'all will be in the house by Christmas. Okay, we come back down during the Christmas holiday. We stayed down here till after New Year. Couldn't find him, he hadn't been in the house. And each time I would get him, I called him, got him down here, I called him. And he said, we're gonna meet, we're gonna talk. Haven't seen him. Still haven't seen him.
He gave us a price, gave us a contract, wrote it, and we gave him money. Couple checks. He came in, did a little bit of work, not what we gave him the money worth, a couple dollars worth of work, you know, and hadn't seen him since then.
How long has it been since you got the contract and he actually hasn't been around?
Well, it's been it was November, I think. When did we start with him?
My nephew called me. That's who he had the job with at first. And so I talked to the man when I was in Kelton, Texas. So I told him I'd be down to talk to him. So he took me over to my nephew's house. And I saw the way they was doing gutting up and, you know, the place was cleaned out and everything. And he said, you know, he was a certified contractor and he had his crew. So he started on the, I think February the 2nd. When we came down, we stayed across the river for about a month. And we had to come across the bridge every day to check on him every time he wasn't here.
Contractor fraud obviously has to do with violations of law. In Louisiana currently, there are really two aspects of contractor fraud. First of all is the misapplication of funds paid in the process of constructing a home, and also the other serious case is actually theft. In other words, taking someone's money and doing little or no work with it.
Basically, it's fraud. You paid for something you didn't get. Material, service, whatever. That's usually what it's all about. Some of the concerns that we've seen up here is where a contractor has taken a large amount of money up front, as high as 50%. In fact, we've had a couple where they've taken all the money up front. Shoddy workmanship, that's a big issue. That could be anything from putting the roof on improperly to going in and not properly treating mold, which now requires a license to properly treat it, or the job drags on and on and on and on and on and on, and that's another issue.
Well, there's a difference when there's contractor fraud when they're not licensed, they're not bonded, as opposed to somebody who doesn't do the work they're supposed to do, or it's shoddy workmanship. There's the difference. Or you have a contractor who wants 40% up front and takes off with the money. Contractor fraud has so many different definitions.
Thing is that they promise that they're putting you to the front of the list. You know, if somebody tells you that, well, that's probably an untruth. If you ask a contractor to come in to do specific work, and all of a sudden by the time he leaves, he's added 5 or 6 other projects to the list, he's trying to scam you. In other words, whatever you need done, just, stick with that project, get that done successfully before you begin another one.
This is a biggie, and this is one that the Attorney General hammers a lot about. Some of these guys will convince you to go down and pull the permit, because whoever's name is on the permit, if and when they come out to inspect the work, you're going to be held liable. But if you're going to have electrical work done, plumbing work, this sort of thing, they all require the proper permits to do, and that is the responsibility of those individual contractors to go down and get those permits.
If somebody's asking you for 50% down payment, pay me cash. Also, don't. If a contractor asks you how much insurance money did you receive or how much you got, don't tell them that.
Hire only in-state contractors and verify the company's registration with the Secretary of State at 1-800-825-3805. Verify contractor license or registration number with the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors at 1-800-256-1392. Get at least 3 local area references and review contractor experience. Get at least 3 bids on the work to be performed. Get a written contract and don't sign anything until you understand the terms of the contract clearly. Pay 10% down or $1,000, whichever is less, depending on the project size and reasonable starting cost requirements. Don't let payments get ahead of work to be completed. Keep a record of all payments. Don't make final payment until you are satisfied with the job. Never pay cash. Keep a job file of all papers relating to your construction project.